Frontline with Courtney Kenny, and I'm Tom Parisi, and today we got a great set of guests. Episode 19 of the Frontline podcast. I'm Tom Parisi, he's Courtney Kenny, and Toronto Marlie, former North Bay Battalion, Justin Brazeau joins us on the podcast. We haven't talked to you in a little while, Braz, but how you been keeping? How's the short season so far treating you?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I think we've played, I think we had 12 games in 19 days to start the year. So, you go from no hockey at all to a lot of hockey at once. So it's been definitely crazy, but it's been good to get back into it.
The season did start a little bit late, and were you guys just on pins and needles to figure out how it was all going to work?
Yeah, I mean, we really didn't know exactly what was going to happen until like 3 or 4 days before we headed out west to start the year. So it was definitely, pretty crazy, pretty hectic, process. We didn't really technically have much of a training camp just because, we didn't get the approval right away, but we were doing a lot of training camp like things going up to it. But yeah, we didn't really get the go ahead right till, right a couple days before the year. But yeah, it's definitely been crazy, but it's been really nice to kind of get back into the flow of the games and stuff like that.
When I personally last talked to you, which would have been January after Leafs camp, yeah, you were kind of in a little bit of a purgatory about the AHL type of situation. Like you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what is that kind of like where you don't know if you're going to be starting or if you're not, or like it's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think, at that point we'd been practicing and, skating for so long and not knowing if it was ever going to lead to anything this year or not. It was definitely tough. But I think once Leaf camp kind of finished up and most of the guys were still like already here sticking around and waiting for Marley's camp, it kind of had that feeling of, even though it wasn't training camp or it wasn't the season yet, guys were kind of, gearing up for one. So it was definitely nice that way. But yeah, it's definitely tough when you're sitting around skating every day, not sure if it's leading to anything.
It's a bit of a strange team this year with the taxi squad and whatnot. So a lot of younger guys on the team. What's it been like?
Yeah, it's been fun. I think a lot of the guys too, I kind of started with last year in Newfoundland. There's a handful of us. So kind of going from that level to this level, it's been fun. And, we have a really good team as far as like the guys are awesome. Like you said, it's a pretty young team, but all the older guys have been really good with letting us, feel included and kind of opening up the room. And yeah, it's been really good so far.
How tough is it to play against the same handful of teams every single game?
Yeah, it's definitely weird because, you obviously have a game plan against them going into it, and then they adjust and make adjustments, and then you do as well. And it kind of feels like little mini playoff series. I mean, I think we've played, 12 games already, and they've been against the same two teams. So it's definitely weird that way. A lot of adjustments are made pretty fast, but, it kind of does feel like playoffs, which, we were able to play last year. So it's kind of nice that way.
Couple of goals on the season already. Let's talk about that first one, that snipe show against the Stockton Heat. I don't know if James Borelli still works for the team or Stockton, but hopefully he got to see it. But tell us about the goal and everything. I know it was a bit of a throwaway game, the score-wise, but just take us through it.
Yeah, obviously it feels pretty good to get that one out of the way. Just me playing where I normally like to play right in front of the net, and I was able to get a stick on it. But yeah, it definitely feels good. I mean, I haven't quite had the start I was hoping for, but that's gonna happen. Things are gonna happen in the game of hockey. You just gotta keep fighting through those. So just trying to get better with every day. I practice in every game and just kind of get adjusted that way. And I wish James was here. I'm pretty sure James is. I think he's up with the Flames right now, like for good.
Is he?
Yeah, so he wasn't there to see it. Well, he might have been there to see it, but I didn't see him there once.
So we when we had you on last time under 5 for chirping, we asked you about that jump up last year where you played one game with the Marlies and the adjustment. Now that you've got a couple of games under your belt, what's that adjustment like?
Yeah, it's definitely been tougher, I think, this year. I think just, everybody's so much better as far as being in a position, the time and space you have with the puck. I mean, everybody from last year to this year was physically wise was very similar, but I think just, when you get the puck, you don't have as much time to make a play. Everybody's on top of you right away. So definitely little things like that. And I think just finding the confidence of, when you're not, like last year, I knew my spot was pretty much guaranteed. And this year, it's not as guaranteed. You're trying to play for that next shift, right? So your confidence isn't as high. So just trying to find those little things and, get better with every game you play.
How tough was it to restart after just so long without nothing?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely tough to get back into the flow of a game, especially with no preseason or anything. Like, when you're going into your first year in the AHL, it'd be nice to have a couple games where you could feel it out. But we tried as best we could with some conditioning scrimmages and stuff we had before, but nothing simulates a game. So it was definitely tough trying to get your timing back and, get back into the flow of a hockey game.
We have talked about this before, but I'll ask it again. Just take us through the experience that you had at the main camp with the Leafs.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome just to kind of get back into the training camp feeling. And obviously when you're up with those guys and, just how good they are, it's fun to be around them every day. I was fortunate enough where I skate with a lot of them throughout the summer, but, when they all get together and it's, business for them and they're getting ready for a year, it's pretty cool to kind of see them prepare and get ready for that.
Any jaw-dropping moments like, holy crap, this is happening?
I mean, I was a little surprised to go to training camp. I think that was kind of cool for me as far as, I was pretty happy with that. Obviously it was a smaller camp than usual with the numbers and the COVID and stuff like that. So just to be able to go there was pretty cool, I think.
I think you had mentioned that you were pre-camp, you were stuck up against Thornton, Matthews, and Marner, like for the most of the time. What was that kind of like? You said to me you didn't touch the puck much, so.
Yeah, you definitely worked on the defensive side of the game when you're on them, because I don't know if I touched the puck at all with them. They just had the puck everywhere in the offensive zone, just spinning me around in the circle. But yeah, it's obviously kind of cool because you see what they do to the NHL players, and then you feel it firsthand there, and probably a little bit more than what they do. But yeah, it's pretty special to watch them.
Well, that's it. And I kind of shared that story with Tom before you hopped on. I just said, oh, he was telling me about this. And that to us is insane, because here you are, a 61 goal scorer in the OHL, and you got these guys. Like, to us, you're pretty damn good at hockey. And I mean, you are pretty damn good at hockey, but I mean, against these guys are legends of the game. So it's crazy to think about the level that you have to get to still.
Yeah, I mean, the skill level of those guys is insane. I mean, it's weird. Like when you get to this like level, a lot of people have the skill, but then it's like the little things that separate. But then when you look at those guys, like the top end guys, it's like, holy crap, like they're just on a different level than everybody. Like the confidence they have and, the ability to make the plays, it's pretty special to watch.
I'm curious. You got a guy on your team, Alex Galchenyuk. He's only played four games, but he's moved around so much. I mean, that's just got to be tough on this guy. Is he just happy to be playing somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he is. Just to kind of get back into a game. I think he's been really, really good for us. His attitude's been really good since being here. Obviously, he's a guy who's played a lot of games and put up a lot of points in the NHL. So, he's been really good. He's played well. He played hard. I think he's just trying to buy time and get used to the system before he makes a jump.
Rich Clune being named captain recently as well. What's he kind of like in the dressing room, and what do you think of that decision?
Yeah, he's been awesome. I think it's the perfect decision, the right decision. I've been around him for the last 2 summers with training and stuff because he's been here in the summer with us, and he's been awesome. Just an older guy who's been around the league, been around the NHL. Always able to go and talk to him. He's just a fun guy. Like, it's fun going to the rink with him every single day. He makes the game fun. Obviously he works his butt off. He works extremely hard in the gym and on the ice, but yeah, he's just a great guy to be around.
With everything, or when we talked to you last, we talked about Todd Skirving at the ECHL level. Is there a kind of guy that is taking you under his wing at the AHL level like that?
I don't know if to that extreme. I think Todd is a unique to that, but no, all the older guys, I'd say for the most part, have been really good. Just inviting us to whatever, you know what I mean, like at the rink, being really good to talk to you if you're going through some things, or just with the train, like just making you feel really welcome and a part of the group. So they've all been really good so far.
we had Nick Paul on a couple of episodes ago, and we were talking to him about some of the protocols that they have to follow at the NHL level, where they can't leave if they're on the road. They're kind of stuck in your hotel room except for game time and stuff like that. Is it pretty much the same kind of deal with you guys?
Yeah, we follow a lot of the NHL protocol, like pretty much all of it. So, whatever they're doing, we're doing, and it's tough sometimes, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to stay on the ice and stay healthy. So, yeah, we pretty much follow exactly what they do.
Is it tough? Like, especially on the mental health side of everything, where you're just not seeing people as often. Is it tough?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit more tough, just because you'd like to kind of hang out with the guys a little bit more away from the rink and stuff like that. But obviously we can, and right now I think for the most part the guys are pretty good with just being happy, being able to go to the rink every day and play games and stuff. So I mean, I don't think we're worried about it too much, but it definitely is definitely a little bit tough.
One of the guys you mentioned before, who's kind of part of that Growlers group on the Marlies now, is Mac Hollowell. Is he still blowing your mind every time you're out there on the ice with him?
Yeah, Mac's funny. He's obviously a great player. I mean, he's so fast and so skilled. But I don't know if I would say he blows my mind anymore. I don't think I can give him that. I think I've gotten used to him. But no, he's obviously a great guy, and we would hang out a lot at the rink and stuff like that, and do a lot of things after practice with like shooting and stuff. So yeah, he's been good.
I'm curious. Actually, Courtney, you go first.
No, yours is going to be on the same. I was moving it to something else, so by all means.
Oh no, so was I.
No, go ahead then. Mine's
I'm curious. You got two goons like us who are just blatantly wearing Leaf stuff. What happens if you guys get caught wearing like Maple Leaf stuff? Like if you showed up in a Leafs jersey or something, do people do that?
No, not really. I mean, we get a lot of team apparel, and it's kind of like when I'm there for the summer, everything you do is like you wear Leaf stuff. And then now we kind of transitioned back to the Marlies, so we're wearing the Marley stuff. But you can kind of wear both, like around the rink and stuff, but no one really wears it away from it.
Are you brave enough to get anything signed by some of the guys?
I honestly haven't really thought of that too much. I was thinking about maybe getting a guy like Spezza or Thornton or something like that, but it's been tough, especially this year, where I think on a normal year we're kind of around them a bit more. But with everything going on, like we're in a different bubble than them, so if they're at the rink in the morning, we're at the rink in the afternoon type of thing, or if they're in the afternoon, we're in the morning. So we haven't really been able to be around them too much, but yeah, that's definitely something I consider.
Weirdly enough, so I was looking at my email here before we hopped on with you, and I got an email from Real Sports saying buy Marlies jerseys. So kind of a little weird thing going on there. I don't think we've asked you these set of questions before, so I'll bring them up now. But we ask most of the guys, favorite, least favorite places to play. So I'll start it with the OHL. What was your favorite and least favorite arena to go to?
Favorite. We didn't play there tons. I like playing Kitchener though. Just it's obviously a cool old rink, and they get a lot of people. But I think probably my favorite might be Niagara. Especially with the last couple of years we were there. They got pretty loud. I think it's a nice rink. Obviously, it's 5,000-6,000 people. That's probably my favorite one to play in. Oh, least favorite. Sudbury might be up there.
It's usually the popular pick.
Yeah, I think just the old barn, the old glass. They're obviously our rivals, so you hate playing against them. But I would definitely probably have to say Sudbury.
Yeah, it's either Sudbury or Peterborough that the guys pick.
Yeah, I was thinking Peterborough, but my last couple of years I don't know what it was, but I had success in Peterborough, so I don't think I could say that one.
Yeah, it's funny because it's either, I don't like it because of this environment, or if somebody else doesn't like it, well, I scored a bunch of goals there, so I kind of like it. Like
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of funny how that works. So in that sense, then we'll ask you this: what was it kind of like playing in a home game in Sudbury that one time?
Yeah, that was really weird. Yeah, I didn't like that very much. That just, it kind of threw everything off because it was a home game, but you had to go to the rink at 3:00 to hop on a bus to go an hour and a half there, and then just seeing the blue everywhere. It was just, yeah, everything about that game was kind of off.
We've heard that the away dressing room is really cold, and when you guys were there for that home game, they wouldn't even let you use their home dressing room.
Yeah, we got like the ref room or something like that.
Those are tiny.
Yeah, I think the other team got like Kingston got the away room, and then we got a room that was over on the side where the Wolves get changed. And then we were using their players lounge and something. It was definitely a weird setup.
I don't know why they just wouldn't let you have the room. It's not like they were playing, right? So
Yeah, I think it was just because we were the battalion. I think any other team they might have let that go, but I think us, they said no.
yeah, fair enough.
Nuts for the sake
Yeah.
of being an ass.
So then on the ECHL level, favorite and least favorite place to go?
Well, that's tough. We only went to like 4 or 5 places. I would say least favorite might have been Brampton. It always felt like Brampton. We only played there twice, but like the one time I remember it was on a 3-3. We played them at 4:00 on a Sunday. We played a game somewhere Saturday night before. We got in at like 7 a.m. and I played them at 4. I remember sleeping from like 7:30 till 12, getting up, getting a Tim's chili and going to the rink. So I think not necessarily for like the place, just kind of the schedule we had playing against them was kind of crappy. Favorite rink, probably we only played there once. We went to Orlando. We went on a Florida trip, and it was just playing in like the Orlando Magic arena. So like obviously a big nice rink. It was kind of cool to play there.
I would ask you on the AHL level, but you've kind of only played a couple of rinks in the AHL as well.
So yeah.
How's the Ricoh Coliseum then? Well, it's not that anymore. What is it? The Coca-Cola?
Yeah, the Coca-Cola. Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, they have a really good setup with like for our room and stuff, and obviously it'd be a little bit different of a vibe with fans and stuff like that, but it's been good so far.
Well, on that note, then you played the inter-squad game with the Leafs. How was Scotiabank Arena?
Yeah, cool. I mean, I had been to one Leaf game before when I was really young, so I hadn't been there in a really long time. Or I've been to a couple Raptors games, but those were obviously a long time ago. So it was kind of cool to get back in there, and it's obviously a pretty well-known rink, and it's pretty nice in there.
How do the players feel about fake crowd noise?
I don't know how they feel, but I know just from the one scrimmage there we had with the Leaf, I didn't like it at all. It was weird. Like I like watching it on TV because I think it actually does kind of make the game sound somewhat realistic with fans. But when you're playing like just like weird little things, when you just barely touch a guy and they put the fake crowd noise and it goes crazy, and it's just like that just wouldn't happen. Like it just little things like that. It's not, you don't notice it a ton while you're on the ice, but while you're sitting on the bench, you definitely do.
For a while, I thought it was only the people on TV who could hear it and not you guys. And then Montreal's Shea Weber said, pump it up louder or something like that. I was like, oh shit, they can hear it.
Yeah, you definitely can hear it.
Does it, you mentioned it doesn't really do much for you while you're on the ice, but when you're off the ice and on the bench, does it kind of take you out of the experience a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just gives it like a weird vibe. Like it's just little things that wouldn't happen in a game. Because you know how during the play, it's for the most part, it's pretty quiet unless something really exciting happens. And like the noises are going off even when nothing really is happening. So I think just that aspect. And then when the whistle happened, normally that's when the crowd will get a little louder for stuff like that. So just kind of the timing of it's a little bit weird.
Well, as a professional athlete, it was just announced the other day the Texas Rangers are going to have a full capacity for their game. I mean, Texas is Texas, but whatever. But it's looking like people are going to maybe not this year, but it looks like people are going to start to be allowed back in maybe as early as next year. What's that kind of mean as a professional athlete to have people coming through the gates again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's exciting if they're going to be able to come back, but obviously I think right now the biggest thing is just the safety and making sure everything, gets sorted out first and then they come back in a safe way. But yeah, it'll definitely be really nice to kind of have people back in the building because, the game's definitely a lot more fun with, the fans in the stands.
You, of course, spending most of your time in the Toronto area and stuff. How's it been throughout all this? Because North Bay has been relatively untouched. I mean, we just got out of lockdown though a week ago, but what's it kind of been like dealing with this on a bigger level like that?
Yeah, it's definitely been different. I mean, I think for me, we're kind of on our own set of rules from we obviously follow whatever the Ontario government's saying, but we have rules as far as like even if we're fully open here, because we're playing at this time, like we're not really allowed to go anywhere besides our apartments. So like when I get groceries and stuff, I order everything in like online and get them delivered here. They have a barber, like somebody coming in to cut hair at the rink, so you schedule a time. So basically everything you need, you kind of get delivered to you, or it's at the rink. So we really haven't been out doing a whole lot, but yeah, it's definitely been different.
Is it tougher in that sense to like meal plan or just get ready for a game you would normally just normally?
Yeah, I mean, I think for some guys it might be. I haven't found it too bad. To be honest with you, I kind of like the delivery of groceries. It's kind of nice just checking them off online and having them brought right to your door. You don't really have to go anywhere. But yeah, I could definitely see how some people might throw them off their routine.
When it comes to going to games and stuff, I assume you can't stop anywhere on the way. You can't grab anything. You got to go right to the rink, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems a little like it's just crazy. There's no, I have to go and grab this or something like that. Like no pregame coffee or anything like that. Everything's at the rink. It's just.
Yeah, they try to do a pretty good job though, as far as whatever they think we're going to need, they kind of try to have it at the rink for us so we can avoid going out at all costs.
So during this, then, we're all creatures of habit and routine. What would be your game day routine?
We just kind of, whenever we got to get to the rink. So on the way, obviously it's a little bit later, but when we're at home here, you just get to the rink around 9 in the morning, 9:30. Morning skate. We get lunch and breakfast at the rink, so they'll give us that. And then I'm pretty boring on game day. As soon as I get home, I like to, it's either eat my pregame meal or get like a little snack, and then I go down for a couple-hour nap, wake up, eat again, and head to the rink. I don't do a ton. I know some of the guys don't nap as much, so they'll play like video games or just kind of watch a movie or something. But I'm definitely a big napper on game day, so I have a pretty boring day.
Are you the type of guy that likes to tape and retape his sticks a million times before the game too?
No, I tape it right when I get there, and then I normally tape it after the first period again. That's pretty much it, unless it gets really messed up. I need a new one.
That's
so
fair.
Yeah. Just one thing kind of on top of all this is we've talked about the eyes are on you, obviously, in Toronto. You're part of the Leafs organization and stuff. Your coach has had glowing review of you as well, Coach Moore there. I know you've mentioned it, we've talked about it before, but I'll bring it up again. Just what's that kind of like having the eyes on you like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different as far as everything you do is kind of magnified, but I like it as far as the pressure and just having people watch you. Obviously, they're really invested into your development here, and that's kind of the sense and the vibe you get. So I think from that aspect, it's obviously nice, and that whatever you do, they're gonna be there to help you out. And we always got a lot of video and stuff, and I think that's the biggest thing is just like some of the video they do. Like you'll get video when you go to the rink from 3 different coaches with 3 little different aspects they see in your game that just they're looking to help you in the littlest way possible. That might make a big difference.
I'm just wondering, is that a little bit too nitpicky sometimes for you, or it's just fine?
Obviously there's an extent I think you can go, and I think they're pretty good as far as they don't overload you with too much. They'll kind of pull like 1 or 2 clips, from a game or a couple of games you've played. So I think that way it's pretty good. And, they do a good job. I think where when it's on the day of the game, they kind of try to leave you alone a little bit that way. But if we have a couple of days of practice or, like this week, we had 3 or 4 days worth of practice. So we had like little development skates before where everybody kind of broke off into small groups and with different coaches. So you kind of work on like through those skates. So it's been good that way.
Now that you've got a couple of games in the AHL under your belt, how has the message changed from game 1 of this season to where you are now?
I don't think it has too much. I think it's just, continuing to kind of find my game and, keep going. I think obviously there is an adjustment period going from, that level to this level. So I think they realize that, and I just got to try to keep getting better. Like Stan always said, you get better or worse every day. You never stay the same. So I think just trying to, keep going, getting better every single time I'm at the rink and, in the gym, and, I'll find my way.
So getting a little bit off game stuff, Courtney and I have a pretty extensive jersey collection from a lot of different teams. What about you? What's yours look like? Or do you have one?
I don't have that big of one. I have a couple where I have an old Calgary Flame. I don't even know from what year, but I think my uncle got the whole team to sign, the C, the Flame on the front. I have one other jersey that I had in Tampa that there's a bunch of autographs when I went, and they played the Capitals, so I have like Ovechkin and stuff. As far as like players, I don't know if I have any. I think I might have one Ovechkin because I was a big Ovechkin fan when I was a kid. One, and then I have a couple more basketball ones that I kind of, carry around, but I don't have too much for a jersey collection.
What do you have for the NBA?
I think I have one Kyrie jersey from Cleveland. I think I have two LeBron, one from Miami and one from Cleveland. Then I have a couple where I have a old retro purple Chris Bosh one.
Nice.
Then I have one of the older white and red Chris Bosh ones from the Raptors, and I think I might have a Tracy McGrady one.
I have one NBA jersey from 03-04, Jalen Rose.
That's not a bad one to have, though.
It's the when the Raptors went from purple to red. I got the red one.
Yeah. I definitely like those the old Raptor ones. Obviously, the new ones are nice. Just kind of having those throwback ones, though. I was looking for that Chris Bosh one for a long time because I think he's probably one of my top 3 favorite players. So
he might be going in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think he should. So I obviously really like kind of when he went from the Raptors to Miami there. So I was looking at getting one maybe from him in Miami as well.
Safe to say, if you weren't playing hockey, you'd be playing basketball?
I don't know about that. I kind of like everything, to be honest with you, as far as sports. Like basketball, I'm a big golfer. So I don't really know what other sport I'd have if I didn't have hockey.
I have 2 Raptors jerseys, and one's a finals Kawhi Leonard one. Because I mean, I thought he was staying. Everyone thought he was staying, right? So, and then I have a Siakam one from the next year. But I'm mostly a baseball and hockey guy, so like I'm all about the baseball and hockey jerseys. But my biggest thing was I bought one of those Canada special edition Blue Jay ones with Josh Donaldson on it, and he was injured at the time and never played another game for the Jays.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
Yeah, so well, I kind of knew he was on his way out, but he was my favorite, and I was just like, whatever. Yeah. So the golf game then, what kind of what's your handicap?
So I get this a lot. I wouldn't know what to say for my handicap because back home, our course, you can't really get like a handicap on it just because it's not as challenging. But, if I were to guess, I would say 6, maybe 5, 6 around there. I'm not too sure. It's tough because when I get down to Toronto here, I'd like to go and play a lot of these nice courses. But, we don't obviously get the chance to go out as much as I'd like. So I wouldn't fully know my handicap, but yeah, I definitely love golf. I think one of my favorite courses to play actually is in North Bay, like what's it called? The private one there, Golf and Country Club. Yeah. I played that. I used to play that a lot growing up when I was a kid, as far as like they had a tournament every year for the junior. So I'd try to get down to that one every year. And then I'd play Osprey Link as well every year.
I love Osprey. That's probably my favorite golf course in North. I've never played the Golf and Country Club, so I'm not an exclusive company there, but I play every other golf course I can at least once during the year, and your handicap's definitely a lot better than mine, so I'm not going to get into that. What's your okay, in that sense then, what was your best day on the course? What was your best score, if you can remember?
My best score so far, it was 67. I shot 5 under back home in Liskeard.
There you go. I've actually never I'm ashamed to admit this. I've never been able to get a birdie ever in my life. I always choke and then I get par. That's it.
Yeah,
I've never kept score.
That's the way to do it, though.
No, I like doing scramble tournaments because then you feel really good about yourself afterwards.
Yep.
Those are my favorite because it's just best ball and away you go, right? So, no, that's that's great. So you mentioned Osprey and have you been able to get down at all and play any of the Toronto ones while you've been down there?
Yeah, when I first got down here, I played, what were they called? I know I played, was it Devil's? It was either Devil's Paintbrush or Pulpit.
I think that's the same one now.
Is it? There's two courses that there's two of them. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I played one of them. I forget the name. I have the scorecard somewhere. I forget exactly which one we played. I was able to play that. I played two others and I forget the name. I think one was Mate. Actually, one might have been Osprey, but it was like obviously a different one down here. But I was able to play three times when I got down here.
Who's your favorite PGA Tour golfer?
Oh, I think I'd have to say Tiger. Obviously, but I would say Ricky Fowler is up there too. I was really a big fan of Ricky growing up when he kind of came onto the scene, all the, the orange on orange and red on red.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a big fan of him just, sticking out like that.
So do you wear the crazy pants when you go golfing, or are you just all business, no play?
I used to wear the crazy pants. I used to have a bunch of Ricky Fowler Puma stuff, but I've kind of grown out of it a little bit, and it's a little bit tougher to find on my size now. So I can't really rock the Ricky.
How big of a pain in the ass is it to find clothes for yourself, though? I don't know how tall you are now, but last time, what was it, 6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah, I'm about 6'7" now. It's definitely tough. And it's tough to find like the funky stuff like that. Like if you're trying to find something different or whatever, it's pretty tough. You got to kind of stick with the pretty plain Jane simple stuff. And I think the biggest thing for me is finding shoes. I can never find shoes in.
Last time I saw you had 15s.
Yeah, I'm 16. So
holy crap.
It's tough to find shoes. So I kind of just take what I can get and roll with it.
I couldn't imagine, like I wear size 10 and a half, and I couldn't imagine an extra 6 inches tacked onto my feet. Christ.
What about skates? How tough is it to find skates in that size?
It's not anymore, obviously, but I remember, so the year before I made North Bay, it was right after I got drafted and I was going back to Lisker to play on the midget team. I had grown out. I was size 12 when I was drafted, but then that summer I grew a little bit and I got my feet sized up and they said, yeah, you're going to need like a 13 and a half. And we were looking everywhere for them. Like I couldn't find any company. I think we got down to one where Reebok said they might make it for us. So we had to actually go through James. He was really good as far as I wasn't on the team, but he got the reps that North Bay has and they got me a pair of skates built out. So I was really lucky because I don't think I would have found any skates then.
I don't know what you would have done.
Yeah, it would have been tough.
Yeah. But yeah, we got really lucky that James did that for us.
No kidding. What
skates
about
are kind
sticks?
of an important part.
Yeah. Sticks. I get my sticks 6-inch extensions. So they come in. Actually, I think the stick I use right now is kind of the specs that Brucey had when he was there. I remember I was in a different stick, like a different model. I think I was in the Super Tack. And then I always wanted to try the trigger. And then I ran out and Brucey had 2 or 3 left over. And just so happened that he had the same curve and everything I did. So I used those and now I'm back. I'm in the triggers because he had them.
You wonder why he didn't score more goals with it.
Yeah, I didn't say it. You did.
When I was talking to the guy about this stick that I was buying from him, he sent me a picture and he said, well, it's taller than me when I'm standing. And I was like, oh, you don't need to tell me about how tall the guy is. He used to be on skates next to me doing interviews. So
yeah,
I think one little shot I want to get in though, back to the golf thing. I went golfing with JJ a couple of times last summer and he's a big Tiger fan to the point where if he's not wearing championship red out on the golf course, no matter what day of the week it is, JJ's not golfing. Like it's crazy.
Does he have the game to match though?
Well, I don't want to say anything that might incriminate me, but the short answer is no. He's better than me. He's better than me for sure. Because he sleeps and breathes golf come summertime, but like Yeah, I don't know if he's got any Masters jackets coming his way anytime soon.
He probably has one just to have one.
Yeah, he bought.
Yeah, he probably went to the store. What did you get a chance then to watch that Tiger Woods documentary?
No, I haven't yet though. I heard it's good.
It is pretty good. It's
Yeah.
not like Last Dance level good, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch that.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty good watching material when you're not on the road or something. So
Yeah.
or maybe even when you're traveling. Hey, you never know.
Yeah, download it.
There you go. Well, Justin, we really, really do appreciate your time today and coming on the podcast again. It's always great catching up with you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Braz.
Yeah, thanks.
We're saying a huge thank you again to Justin Brazeau. What is he, number 38 for the Marlies? A couple goals on the season. Man, we were so pumped he was going to be on the show, and we're so happy to have him on episode 19. Now, Courtney, you don't know this story, but one time my fiance got me tickets to a Leafs game and a Marlies game for Christmas.
Great weekend.
It was supposed to be a fantastic weekend. Here's how it shook down. So we were supposed to drive down to Toronto, stay with my sister. This was a couple years ago. The year the Maple Leafs acquired Jake Muzzin.
I believe you stayed with me on the way down.
Yes, I did. It was a giant snowstorm.
Yep.
Yeah, we left.
My car got dinged and everything. It was awful.
We had the crack of crow we got up at to drive to Toronto because we had to drive like 60 till we got to Barrie. But so the Leafs game was a Saturday night, which was great. But the Marlies game was that night. So I think we left a Friday morning and we were making our way to Toronto to catch the Marlies game. And we thought, I was like, okay, cool. The Marlies game starts at 4. My sister doesn't live too far from the Coca-Cola Coliseum. We'll get there. It'll be fantastic. It'll be great. Sorry, the Marlies game starts at 7. So we eat. We get down there, me and the missus. She's wearing her Maple Leaf sweater. I think I had this jersey on, my Steve Thomas jersey, one of my favorites. And all of a sudden, there's not too much hype around the arena. Like, there's nobody really around. And we're like, okay, the game starts in like a half hour. Where the hell is everybody? And all of a sudden, people are shuffling out just slowly. And we can't find the actual entrance. And like the doors are closed. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And they were playing the Laval Rocket, so Montreal's farm team.
Mm-hmm.
Done the game start at 4:00, not 7.
Oh no!
So we missed it.
Oh,
we showed up. We were all primed to go, and because I read the Leafs game ticket instead of the Marlies game ticket, so I never did get to go see it. And I was kicking myself because we had pretty solid seats. And I've always wanted to go to a Marlies game. And that was my first and only time with a Marlies experience. And the next night we went to go watch the Leafs beat the crap out of the Ducks. I think they won 5-2.
Oh, no. That's awful.
Oh.
I've never gone to a Marlies game or gone. I've been by the arena on the Gardner, of course, on the Gardner.
Oh yeah, millions of times.
Yeah, but I've never actually, or if you're going over to like, I guess it's Budweiser stage now, it's like right there too, but Molson Amphitheater, whatever. That's awful.
Yep. And I thought the missus was going to be like not happy because, spend that money and not do anything, but she was good about it. We laughed. It was funny. The doorman at my sister's apartment complex, he's like, all right, yeah, tell him good luck. And we got back to the place like 20 minutes later. He's like, was the game that crappy? I said, no, we missed it.
So I'm the type of person when I go to a sporting event, I like to get there early.
So do I.
Yeah. So I have a couple of them, but they're mostly Jays related. So I was going down for a weekend with my mom. We were going to go and hang out in Toronto and do Toronto things and stuff. And we're both big fans of the Sheepdogs. So it just so happened that the Sheepdogs were playing before a Jays game. So I was like, why don't we go to the Jays game and catch the Sheepdogs while we're at it? And she's never really down that way. Like, it's mostly I go by myself a lot or with friends or whatever, but she doesn't really ever go down to Toronto. So she's like, well, I want to see my friend who lives in Mississauga. Okay. So we get to Mississauga. Like, we left that morning from North Bay, get down to Mississauga, and we're hanging out with her friend and, catching up and all this stuff. And it's getting pretty close to, like, we should probably leave because we still had to check into the hotel and stuff down in Toronto. And our hotel was like right downtown Toronto. So it was like, it's going to take you some time to get down there and all that stuff because it's Toronto. And we got stuck in a traffic jam on the Gardiner and missed the sheepdogs. And we've seen the sheepdogs multiple times since, but at the time it was like, I was more going for the sheepdogs than I was for the Jays, to be honest, even though that was 2015. So, and it was like end of August 2015. So the Jays were like really good at that point. So the consolation was they beat up on the Tigers, and I saw like Tulo and Donaldson go back to back, which was awesome, as we got a good shot of Indy there. But the other situation was, I don't know much about Southern Ontario. Like, most of it just kind of blends together for me. Like, and most of the time I'm in Toronto, and if I go any further south, it's towards Niagara, and it's all kind of part and parcel with one another. So we went down. Producer Ben and I went down. We were going down for 3 straight Jays games against the Washington Nationals. Wanted to see Bryce Harper and all that stuff. Bryce Harper's not that good at baseball. He's a lot better than me, but he's not that good. Overrated. You heard it here first, folks. And the Jays swept the series, and the Jays weren't that good. It was just like 2017. So they weren't that good. And they swept the series. But anyways, Ben says, well, let's stay at my sister's house in Kitchener. Thinking, oh, Kitchener's right there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Kitchener is not right there. Kitchener's about 2 hours, hour and a half away from Toronto. So, I remember after we got down for the Friday game, went straight to Toronto for the Friday game. We left the Rogers Center and we're driving to his sister's house. And I'm like, oh my, and I'm the one driving. So I'm like, how far do we have to go here?
All of a sudden you see a sign like 100 and some odd kilometers
away. And you're like on the 401, right? So traffic's not that great and all this stuff. So we made the trek to Kitchener after each and every game because we were like, well, we're kind of stuck now. And the Saturday game, we got there by the 3rd inning because we were so late. Like, so you've already missed a third of the game. And it's like, I mean, thanks for the hospitality. Love the house is beautiful. Kitchener's a really nice area. But I don't know if I'm going to a Jays game and I'm going to multiple Jays games, I'm going to stick in Toronto or around Toronto.
I hear you loud and clear.
Actually, that same season you went to a Leafs game. I went down with a friend for my birthday and went down and caught them playing the Arizona Coyotes, who Alex Galchenyuk was playing for at the time, actually. And we got to the game like super early because I'm used to showing up to Memorial Gardens 5:30 for a 7:00 game. And so we showed up 5:30, and you were stuck in just this little area. They wouldn't let you go anywhere. They wouldn't let you go to your seats or anything. You were just stuck in this little foyer. You were allowed into the arena, like past the gate, but you were stuck in this little area. So I kind of learned not to show up early for NHL games anymore. It's kind of boring.
The last NHL game I went to was in Columbus. They played the Calgary Flames, which is a fantastic city, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we couldn't get into the rink before, I think it was 6:30 or something like that. So we had to wait in line just outside the arena. And we'll tell more. We should tell more Columbus stories in another episode because it's a fantastic city. And there's a lot of cool stuff to do. And I don't know, the rink's kind of neat, but
it is.
Yeah, I remember we couldn't get in really. I thought we could get in early because I remember we went back to the Airbnb we were staying at. I went and got my jersey. We went and stayed in line. And I was like, sun's going down. It's getting cold.
Yeah.
Can you open the door?
Yep. That's pretty accurate.
Anyhow.
Last one I have to say, the last NHL game I went to was in Ottawa between the Leafs and Sens. Garrett Sparks started. The Leafs lost 6-2. I was very angry when I left there that day. Got to see them wear the St. Pat's jerseys though, so that was kind of cool. And we went to the National War Museum before it. Same friend and I. It's pretty heavy, man, when you walk through there.
It's heavy, but man, is it interesting.
It is. So we were staying, same friend and I, we were staying right downtown Ottawa. And of course, it's well documented that the Sens don't play right downtown Ottawa, which I knew about because you had to pass the rink to get into Ottawa anyways. So we pulled up at about 5:30 because we were like, okay, well, we'll show up a little bit later. We pulled up at 5:30. We got to park right next to the rink. It was amazing. And then we still couldn't get it until like 6:15ish. So we just kind of sat outside in March in Ottawa or Canada and waited. And then we finally got in and, got our snacks and stuff and walked around the rink. And it was crazy because it was like a sea of blue. There was like not a Sens fan in sight. And when they announced the opening line, like the starting lineup for the Sens, they were like booed. And I remember like turning to said friend and I was like, this is going to be awkward if they if the Sens come out and win. And the Sens came out and won. So
classic Maple Leafs back in the day.
Yeah. Well, this was same season. Jake Muzzin was acquired. So,
oh my.
Yeah. We'll just blame it on Mike Babcock.
Yeah, we'll blame it on him. Either way, this is episode 19 of the fantastic Frontline podcast. And I can't say enough good things about our guest, Justin Brazeau, who joined us. And of course, making us sound fantastic, our producer, Ben Sargent. If you want to find us, you can find us in a lot of great places: Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast, and heck, you can watch this on YouTube. This is Indy this time. You saw Nora in episode 18. This is Indy, a cute little face. And hopefully he makes more comebacks. He's trying to gnaw my finger right now. It is what it is. He's got a cute little bow tie. Either way, stay tuned. Episode 20 coming up in the not too distant future. This was a lot of fun, and we should do it again sometime.